Let me just share this. What I found out was that when U2 started, they were not a great band. In fact, it wasn't unusual that they were laughed off the stage or booed. They didn't sound very good. They had a couple of members who were talented in performing, but there were a couple, like Adam Clayton had a bass guitar, but he didn't know how to play a bass guitar, and he couldn't keep time. So there were some serious problems in their music. But they came together, and over time, they started in the mid-70s, but today they have won more Grammy Awards than any band in history, and they have the highest revenue-producing concert tour in history. They have been wildly successful, and without question are one of the best rock and roll bands in history. How did that happen? What I found out was Bonos are, in some ways, the way we work together is more extraordinary than our music, and I would agree with that. And you see it in Bono's leadership. He communicates an inspiring vision. Their music is, Bono says we're musicians and performers, but we also have a mission. Our music is about human rights and social justice, and that differentiates us from a lot of bands. This really brings meaning to our lives. Secondly, Bono values his other band members, and you see that in several ways. Number one, he praises them frequently. He describes himself as a terrible guitar player and a terrible keyboards player, but he says, because of these talented friends of mine, together we come together and bring this music I hear in my head to life. And he does that. He's also had the backs of his band members. When U2 received their first recording contract from A&M Records, the executive who offered the contract said there was one condition, which was you have to get rid of Larry Mullen Jr., the drummer, and replace him with a conventional drummer. Well, Bono told him basically to shove it, is what he said, because it's all of us or none of us. He was loyal to Larry, and they also have adopted the motto that we're all going to get out of this alive. So it's they're sticking together, and it's helped. Sticking together helped them perfect their performance together and has made them the band they are. The third thing is that Bono gives everyone a voice in decision making. And the way he does that doesn't mean they get a vote, but what he basically does is if anybody strongly opposes a particular decision, then they'll continue to work through their differences until most of them agree. But if somebody strongly opposes, then they won't go forward until they move towards a consensus. Now, if, say, 3 out of the 4 members agree they want to go in this direction and one person doesn't strongly agree, they'll probably go in that direction. But they really strive for consensus and take the time to do that. And Bono says it can be frustrating to do that. It takes more time to do that. But we've learned from experience that it produces better music. And who's to argue with them when you look at just the extraordinary success they've had as a band? So when you're intentional about communicating an inspiring vision, valuing people, and giving them a voice, it creates a connection culture that will help your organization thrive.